Hello, okay, we are live. Do me a favor and before I get started, just let me know I'm live by hitting some hearts, do something so I know that you're out there so I don't get started here alone. So let me know that you're here. Today what we're going to be doing is we're beginning, it looks like I got people. Okay, I see. There's a little number up there growing. Yay! Awesome. Welcome, everyone. All right, so this is the first day of a 3-day challenge, a 3-day quest, a journey, kind of like an epic that we're all going on together for the next 3 days. My intention, for those of you who are curious, how long is this going to take each day? My intention is that the actual kind of class part of it's only going to be about 30 minutes, but plan on giving yourself an hour each day. So I broke it up into 3 days so that it's not overwhelming. Hi, Jennifer. So that you can really get the most out of this and bring focused attention into your life and your dreams. This is the Focused, Free, and Fulfilled Quest. And how I came up with this is that for me, this year is about feeling focused, feeling free, and feeling fulfilled. And something I often teach my clients is I help them get super clear on how they want to feel, like getting clear on the things that they want to experience and what do they believe they'll be feeling when they're experiencing that, when they have that, when they are that. And for them to begin to create and do things that make them feel that right now in the moment before they've even created that experience, that business, found that love. And so for me, it's focused, free, and fulfilled. And as I started to think about that, what came up for me was, well, you know what, who doesn't want to feel focused, free, and fulfilled? And a lot of the things that I was doing to kind of kick off the new year to feel that way, practices I was creating and cultivating, and things that I had been practicing last year and were decided to kind of kick up this year, I am bringing this into this challenge to offer this up to you all to also kick off the new year feeling focused, free, and fulfilled. So today what we're going to do is today's all about focus. Tomorrow will be all about feeling more free in your life. And then the third day is going to be all about you feeling more fulfilled in your life. Today what we're going to do, so we're going to embark kind of on a vision quest today. Today is all about really reflecting on the past and then getting really clear on what we want this year to the rest of the year to look like. Then on day 2, we're going to move more into what I call soulful strategy. And this is where we're going to dive deep into what are the practical steps that we need to do to create that reality, but also what are more of the kind of what I like to call the magical steps. What is the mindset that I need to have? And also, who do I need to be to make those aspirations, those goals, that vision a reality for me? And then day 3 is a really fun day because day 3 is where we are going to move into learning some kind of powerful paradigms that truly fulfilled people like Oprah, Tony Robbins, people like that, paradigms that they live by daily. And we're going to go through those as well. I'm going to be teaching everyone a practice that I created called the Magic Mindset Meditation, which is a very simple mindset practice that you can practice every day because it's only 10 minutes long, that will really help you to move powerfully and swiftly towards your vision. So what I want to do today before we get started is get you set up. So imagine that the way that I envision this is like, we have people coming in from all over the world. Ellie's on, she's from Australia. Amanda's on, she's living in Nicaragua. Jordan's on, she's in Portland, Oregon. And we can't all be in the same room together doing this, right? We can't all circle up in the same room. But I want it to feel like that's what we're doing. So one thing is definitely participate, say comments, heart things up that you like, give thumbs up so that we feel your energy because we see all of that. But also set the scene like this is an hour-long circle. So light candles, like right now, I'll show you guys this. I got this awesome candle that says wild and free. Set the scene, light incense, make it feel the way you want it to feel. Get your favorite drink. Something that I love about teaching from my home is I can have a glass of wine sitting in front of me. I wouldn't do that probably if this was like a workshop at a yoga studio. You know, whatever, kombucha, a tea, a water, really make it feel like we're all just hanging out and we're spending the next hour in meaningful community and having fun, like it being like a celebration, but it also being meaningful. Sound good? All right, look who else. Ursula's here from Boston. Is that from Boston or is that your last name? Ursula Boston. I thought she was saying from Boston. Jennifer. Great. Okay. So my guess is that if you are here right now, you are someone who's a lot like me. You're probably very driven. You're probably very ambitious. You're probably consider yourself a go-getter. Is that so? Give me some hearts if you consider yourself driven, ambitious, a go-getter. You're someone that's not afraid of challenge. You have high aspirations, and it's actually fun for you to think about them. It can be overwhelming too, but this is like you like it. You know, you like goals. They're fun. It's exciting. Yay, hope, says my partner's mom. Good. So if this is you, if you're someone who's driven and ambitious and a go-getter, what I also know about you, because I'm like that, is you tend to put too much on your plate. So when you get into all of this kind of excited thinking about your future and all the things that you want to do and create and be, it can become very cluttered and overwhelming. So if you're someone who has that kind of go-getter mentality, you probably also experience overwhelm and anxiety. And so today's class, today's challenge is all about creating space in your life to get focused in a way that feels good, focused in a way that creates the results that you want, but without all the shoulds, where you're getting real with what you actually want to create. And I'm going to give you some really powerful processes to figure that out. And you're going to do that in a way that feels spacious. It doesn't feel overwhelming. It doesn't feel like, oh, how am I going to get it all done? So to start, I want to share a quote with you to open up the space with a mindset that matches what we're going to talk about today. So there is a quote that says, most people overestimate what they think they can get done in 1 year, but they underestimate what they think they can get done in 10 years. This is by Bill Gates. I'm sure most of you know who this is. This is the co-founder of not Apple Computer, Microsoft, and he's a philanthropist, he's an author, he's done some pretty powerful, amazing things in his life. I think he's considered one of the richest men in the world, and he's the one who said that. He gets it. He gets that a lot of times what stops people from getting to where they want to get isn't a lack of ability, isn't a lack of qualities or talents or capability, but it's that they're just putting too much. They're expecting too much from themselves in 1 year, and then they're underestimating what they can do in a decade. And the people who you're really seeing go like, wow, they're creating it, they're giving themselves more space to actually do that. It's not happening overnight. Though it may look like it's happening overnight, this comes to another kind of, I like to give these quotes because for me, like my mindset works in quotes. And a lot of times when I am feeling overwhelmed or anxious, it's a quote that'll pop up in my mind and remind me to soften. But it's that, I became an overnight success in 10 years. It's where the whole world, right, especially with social media now, it looks like something in someone's life is just like happening for them, just like this, like, wow, it's amazing, your life. You're just like overnight, you're just creating the most epic life. But typically it's not like that. Typically it just appears to be that way, but it was actually a work in progress. So what we want to do today is really focus in on our priorities and focus in on priorities for this year. Things that we actually want to accomplish, to achieve, to create, to make happen this year. And so today's process is all about getting really clear on what that is, rather than being in our head in this kind of big picture, overall kind of idea land where we're not really focusing down and getting super clear so that we can then strategize proper actions and mindsets that we're going to need so that we can actualize them, which we'll go into that tomorrow. Okay, so let's begin. What I want to begin with is, so I've got my notes here. If you see me kind of looking away, it's a lot of information and I want to make sure you get it all. So here's where we're going to begin today. The first thing I want you to do is, if you don't have paper and pen, go get paper and pen. Now, what I will tell you is that once this challenge is done today, I'm gonna share this on that. I created a Facebook page, which is called Focused, Free, Fulfilled. And it's gonna show up here in the comments in just a minute, the link. If you're not already a member of that, after this, you can go there and you can ask to join that group, Focused, Free, Fulfilled. It's a Facebook group. Reason being is I'm going to send the recordings there if there's anything you want to review, or if you want to send this to someone to watch. But also, a lot of the questions that I'm going to give you now, I'm also going to write those down so that you'll have access to them. It's also a great space for you to share insights, ahas, and just feel the energy of other people also taking this challenge at this time, which is an incredibly powerful thing to feel, one, that you're in community, but also to share some of your priorities, some of your aspirations, to hold you accountable and feel the energy of not just having it in your head, but sharing it with the world. So paper and pen, grab that now, because what we're going to do is we're going to begin by, I'm going to teach you a 3-step process that I do that helps me to focus in and create results without all of the shoulds. And I broke it down, I kind of refined it down to 3 steps so that it's really accessible, and so that the process, when you go through it, shouldn't take more than like 30 to 45 minutes. Now, because this is live, we're not going to all do it together. What I want you to do is just write down the steps, write down the questions, and then when this is all done, you can take 30 to 45 minutes to go through them. Now, here's the thing. You've got to actually go through them, and don't just think about them. It's a very different response that you're going to get from yourself thinking about the answer to the question versus actually writing it down. It's like night and day. So once you have this 3-step process, I want you to take some time right after this, if you can, and get right into it. And you'll need to do that for it to lead into where we're going tomorrow. So the 3-step process, I call it reflect, release, refine. Reflect, release, refine. So step 1 is reflecting. And what you're going to do is you're going to reflect on the year prior to this moment. So you're going to reflect on 2016. Reflect on the year prior to this moment. And you're going to answer 3 specific questions to help you really reflect on the year in a very meaningful way. And so here's what I want you to write down is under that first step, reflect, the 3 questions are this. What was the single best decision you made last year? What was the single best decision you made in this past year? So write that down. What was the single best decision you made this past year, and why? And again, if you miss anything, remember all of this will be over on the Focused, Free, Fulfilled Facebook page. So one more time, what was the single best decision you made this past year and why? Now don't answer that right now, because I really want you to be able to reflect on that and take some time and write it down. Just write that question down. Now the second question under the first process is, what was the single most challenging thing that happened last year? What was the single most challenging thing that happened last year? And what did you learn? What was the single most challenging thing that happened last year? And what did you learn? What I often find is that first and that second question, it's not always, but oftentimes they're linked. So that best decision, like for instance, when I did this for myself just now, so my single best decision that I made last year was that I really decided, I committed to my personal, I wrote right here, I committed to my personal and professional development and taking it truly to the next level. So I focused my investments rather than scattering them all over the place. And from that, I got super clear on my priorities, my purpose, and my big vision. This is my why. And I met inspiring people. I went on incredible adventures. My confidence and my skills grew, as well as my clarity and courage for creating the life that I really want to create. But then my single most challenging thing that happened is through me really focusing in and getting support in the way that I wanted to get support, I discovered that it was time for me to let go of something that was near and dear to me. And so the single most challenging thing that happened for me last year was that after a decade of teaching yoga and mindfulness classes to my local community, I decided to let that go to create space for this big vision that was coming to light over the year. And what I learned from that was the power of letting go to grow. There was so much that I learned from that. I mean, and it's interesting too to reflect on the process that I went through during that time, like feeling like even though my income was not very much from teaching yoga, I somehow was convincing myself that like I wouldn't be able to pay rent if I stopped teaching local classes. It was like all of this interesting ways in which I was really holding tight on it that weren't even true, or that I wouldn't be like an authentic teacher if I wasn't teaching locally these yoga classes, or so many stories came up and I had to really move through them and commit. And it was a process that people who know me personally saw me go through. So they're linked. And that decision I made last year, I never would have gone through the challenge that I went through if it weren't for that. And there's so much growing that took place from both of those. And then the third question in your reflect section is, what was your biggest personal transformation last year? What was your biggest personal transformation last year? And then where are you still holding back? So again, I'll say that so you can write that down. What was your biggest personal transformation in 2016? And where are you still holding back? Okay. So again, what you'll do at the end of this live thing is you'll go and take some time to do that first step to get really focused and reflect on last year. Now, of course, if there's other things you want to do with reflecting, you want to incorporate some of your own personal practices, great. Definitely reflection is key, because it's what I find is when I reflect on the year prior, I'm more focused on where we're going next. Let's put it that way. Okay, so you've got the reflect. Now the second is release. And in release, what you're going to do is you're going to set a timer. And you're going to set a timer for 7 to 10 minutes, no less than 7 minutes and no more than 10 minutes. And what you're going to do here is a brain dump. You're basically going to clear the clutter of all the thoughts and ideas and aspirations that you're holding up in your head, and you're going to get them out. So this is the way that I like to explain this. You're going to imagine that it's December 31st, 2017. So it's a year from now. It's the end of the year, 2017. And you're going to reflect on, it's as if you're reflecting back to me what happened that has you feeling like over the moon with excitement. What has you feeling proud? What has you feeling fulfilled? What did you experience? What did you do? What did you create? What did you achieve that really has you feeling proud and fulfilled? And this is the end of 2017. So it's like you're doing a little kind of visioning as if it already happened. So here in this brain dump, you're basically writing down all the things that you want to experience, create, accomplish, achieve over this year. All of it. Just let it all come out. And again, 7 to 10 minutes. The point of this is, even though in the personal development world, this is pretty basic, brain dumps, you hear about it all the time, but a lot of people aren't actually doing it. So it really, first of all, a lot of times what I notice when I'm feeling overwhelmed is because I'm not actually getting it out and processing it. I'm just keeping it in my head and then wondering why I'm feeling so anxious or things aren't progressing in the way that I want. So you're just getting it all out. But also doing this is going to lead to the third step. Okay, so the third step, and again, if any of this is, you're getting lost on this, I'm going to be posting this in the Facebook group page, Focused, Free, Fulfilled, and I'm also going to write the questions there. And that third step is called refine. And in refine, there's 3 major questions here. And these 3 major questions, they've come through me kind of following a few personal, professional, and spiritual development kind of gurus. And I have started to see some connections of people who are really rocking it the way that I want to rock it. And there's certain kind of questions that they ask themselves. So I'm going to give you 3 questions that actually is inspired by 2 people. One person is someone named Michael Beckwith, and he's an author. He's He's the creator of the Agape Spiritual Center in Los Angeles. He's definitely a major thought leader and a powerful person. And if you don't know who Michael Beckwith is, definitely check him out. And he says that if every day you wake up and you ask 3 questions and you fulfill those 3 questions by the end of the day, then you are going to create for yourself a fulfilled, purposeful life. And those 3 questions that he says, they're how can I grow, how can I give, and what can I celebrate? How can I grow, how can I give, and what can I celebrate? Now, I took that and I also then read this person, his name is Vishen Lakhiani. He's the creator of Mind Valley, which is this online where you can do all sorts of online personal development programs. He's the creator of Awesomeness Fest, and he recently just wrote a book that is called The Code to the Extraordinary Mind. And in there, he poses 3 powerful questions to help people discover what he calls your end goals versus your means goals. So he says most people, when they're creating goals that are a means to an end. Like, for instance, I want to make multiple 6 figures. And that's a means goal because it's a means to an end. Because why do you want to create multiple 6 figures? There's some reason you want to create multiple 6 figures. Is it that you want to buy a house? Is it that you want to go and travel to other countries 3 months out of the year? Is it that you want, what are those reasons? Is it that you want to invest in a coach that's $20,000? Like, what are those reasons why you want to make that amount of money? And so these questions that he poses helps you get clear on the end goal, so it saves you a lot of stress and time. And his questions are very, very similar to Michael Beckwith's. He says his questions are basically exactly the same. They're like, how do I want to grow? How do I want to contribute? And what do I want to experience? And so my 3 questions to you are this. So now go ahead and write them down. They're pretty much exactly the same. Hi, Danielle. I miss you too. The first question is this: how do I want to grow? And specifically, how do I want to grow personally, professionally, and spiritually, which is often the one that gets forgotten. People they'll talk about personal stuff like I want to lose weight, or I want to start integrating like a mindset practice daily. And they'll even talk about professional. I want to double my income this year. I want to launch this program. I want to lead a retreat. I want to up my leadership skills, in this team group that I'm in. But often the spiritual one is what gets left out. And spirituality is unique for each of us. So this could just involve your self-care. This could involve kind of like the way that you think and respond to to yourself, to the world, to others. How are you compassionate? Are you forgiving? Are these muscles that need work, that you desire to work on? Are you patient? Like, those things for me really tap into more of a spiritual essence for me, and as well as self-care stuff, things that are nourishing on that soul level. So again, how do you want to grow personally, professionally, and spiritually? And then, just like that beginning question, once you write those down, why? The why is so key. Because then when you really get clear on the why, this takes something that you want, like losing 10 pounds. And it makes what is like a goal, like, oh yeah, I want to lose 10 pounds. And it's very easy to just forget about it. But when you get clear on the why, I want to lose 10 pounds so that I can feel more energetic, and so that I can feel more confident, and so that I can go out dancing and feel good in my body. Like, you get really clear on the whys, then it makes your goal compelling, and it turns your goals into a vision. It turns your goal into something compelling that pulls you towards it rather than feeling like you're pushing towards it. The second question is, how do you want to contribute? So this is what gifts, qualities, and character traits that you would like to define and refine. The gifts, qualities, and character traits that you'd like to define and refine so that you can share it with the world. This is how you want to contribute. So these can be things like specific things that you want to create, that you believe will give back to the world, to your family. But these could also be particular character traits and qualities that you want to refine and work on more. This is, remember that contribution, it doesn't have to be this huge global impact. It can be small in your community. It can be in your family. It can be even just like contributing on a daily basis in a really, really small way, like being more mindful when you're at the grocery store and making eye contact with people. So how do you truly want to contribute? And then the last one is, how do you want to celebrate, or what do you want to experience? You can kind of look at that third one, whichever question resonates with you more. So how do I want to celebrate? What do I want to experience? And these are like the meaningful adventures, experiences, environments, connections that you want to create. This is how you want to celebrate your existence. This is the experiences that you want to have. So is this like going to another country? Is this speaking on a stage in front of thousands of people? Is this flying first class? You know, is that what are these celebrations, ways in which you want to celebrate life and experience life? What are they? Like for me, one of the ways that I want to celebrate this year and experience, and something I want to experience, is going to Awesomeness Fest. Something that when I think about it, it totally lights me up. It feels completely meaningful to me. It incorporates all the things I love, from adventure to travel to personal development. And then again, why? So getting really clear on your why. So you've broken down, you've refined what you want to do. You've focused it down into these three categories. How do I want to grow personally, professionally, and spiritually? How do I want to contribute? What gifts, qualities, and character traits do I want to define and refine so I can share them with the world? And how do I want to celebrate? What do I want to experience? What are the meaningful adventures, experiences, environments, connections that I want to be a part of and create? So here's the thing, here's the powerful thing about that three-step process, is by the time you go through that, you reflect on the year prior, you release, and kind of do that brain dump, and then you refine down into these three questions. What happens is that if you commit to living these answers, not just taking the 30 minutes to go through and get clear on that, but you actually commit to living the answers, your life is much more likely to feel fulfilling, and for you to really be experiencing the profound gift that your life really is. So it's not just about answering these questions, getting clear and focusing in, but it's about committing to living the answers. And the way that we're going to do that is to prioritize even more. Again, it kind of goes back to what Bill Gates said about like overestimating what is actually possible in 1 year, but underestimating what can actually happen in a decade. And so once you've narrowed that down, you've done that process, the final thing that I want you to do is maybe even take a highlighter and highlight some of the things that really stand out to you, some of the goals, some of the things that you want to create there. And you're going to narrow it down to your top 5 for this year. This doesn't mean that all those other things you're not going to get to, but what are the top 5? What are those things that like are a must for you to focus on and create this year? What are the things that are going to be like push goals that if you focus on them this year, they're going to actually create like a domino effect and help some of your other goals and aspirations come to life? So what are those top 5 really prioritizing and refining down? And if you're stuck on this, which I often am when I do, there's another question that you can ask to really help you narrow down to your top 5, and here's what it is. What will you regret not doing a year from now? What will you regret not doing a year from now? So what truly, truly matters this year? This year. Okay. All right. So the last thing that I want to offer you for today, let me just make sure, is this quote. It's from a book I read called Health and Harmony. And in this book, there was this one quote that really stood out to me. I have it written on a whiteboard, and I feel like it's the perfect kind of mantra, really, for you to write down as you go through this vision quest on day one of getting focused. And it's this: weak and scattered thoughts create weak and scattered forces. Strong and concentrated thoughts create strong and concentrated forces. So, I mean, you could really even take that word forces and change it to focus, right? Like weak and scattered thoughts create weak and scattered focus. Strong and concentrated thoughts create strong and concentrated focus. So I will take that little mantra and I'll write that in the group page because I think it's excellent. And it always reminds me when I start thinking more is better, I remember this. This really is like a mantra of less is more. And I'll tell you what, for driven, ambitious go-getters, less is more is a hard concept to take on, right? It really is a practice, I believe, for ambitious people so that we can actually see progress in our life, actually move forward and feel the fulfillment of creating that progress and seeing ourselves become the person that we know we're meant to be without all that overwhelm and anxiety and all the shoulds. If you just do that, if you just do this, then you'll feel this way. So go ahead and do that today. And then where we're headed tomorrow is day 2. Here it is. We're going to go into the soulful strategy. So once you kind of are clear on your top 5 priorities for this year by going through that process, and if anyone came on late and was like, oh my God, don't worry, I'm going to post this video in the group page, I'm going to write the questions there, you'll be able to come tomorrow on day 2, and I'm going to teach you a technique to really see the progress. How can you really move forward with those top priorities, but also who is the person that you need to be to really make that happen. We're going to be going through kind of getting in touch with kind of how I opened up and I said, for me, this is a year of feeling focused, free, and fulfilled. So we're also going to tap into the feelings that you believe that you're going to feel when you reach those goals. And I'm also going to teach you some mind traps that often derail us, especially when we're stepping outside of our comfort zone and we're pushing forward. And these are the 7 mind traps that every time, it never fails. Whenever I'm derailing myself, I'm caught in one of those mind traps. And the powerful thing about knowing about those mind traps is then you can, it's awareness. It's like, oh, I'm just in this mind trap. Like, for instance, I'll give you a hint. One of them is the shoulds. I should be doing this. I should be posting 500 times a day. If I want to grow my business, I should lose 10 pounds. The shoulds, it gets you really clear on that. But then you also can create strategies for when you're stuck in one of those mind traps so you can get out of it. So that's what tomorrow is all about. Yay, this stuff is new to me, this whole talking to people live and giving you guys these practices via the internet. So it's simultaneously really fun for me and also nerve-wracking. So I kind of want to close just on putting it out there, especially since we're talking about being focused, free, and fulfilled. Is the last thing that I want to say, just as kind of a little bit of insight and inspiration, is that one thing I know for sure, there's a lot of processes that we can go through to get more focused, to feel more free, to create a fulfilling life. But the one thing I know for sure, without a doubt, is that every time I do something that scares me, makes me uncomfortable, makes me feel like, oh my God, I know this isn't going as well as I'd imagined it in my head, it's not as perfect, and I do it anyways, that's when I see profound change happen. That's when I see myself moving forward in all the ways that I want to move forward. So as you're watching this, if anyone is wanting to stretch themselves, the final question you can really ask yourself is, what is something I want to do? It's an idea. Most likely you already know what it is, but I'm procrastinating or holding off or making excuses because I'm scared, because it's new, because I know I'm not going to be perfect at it. I know it's going to be messy. I know I'm going to be comparing myself to how other people appear when they do it. And go do that. Go do that as soon as you can, because then you move past that fear and you see that it's 1, not as bad as you thought. 2, it's kind of fun. And 3, you start to develop the skills you need to make it the way you want to make it. All right, you guys, hopefully I did that in about a half hour. Yes, I did it in a half hour. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. In about 20 minutes on the Facebook page, you're going to see this video for anything you want to review, as well as have the written questions out. Please, please do this. It's one thing to sit here and listen to me blah, 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 talk to you. It's a totally different thing for you to actually sit down and take the time to do that. I promise you, you are going to get something out of it. And what I ask you to do is share with the community any insights, ahas. When you narrow down to your top 5 priorities, share it on the Facebook page. Share any kind of ahas that come up for you, because one is it's going to inspire other people if anyone's like, oh, I don't know if I want to do it. But it's also going to help to hold accountability for you, because even simply just sharing your visions with the public shifts something in you. It's no longer just something you can keep a secret in your head. You've now shared it with people. And it really starts to open you up to new possibilities. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.